It started like any regular afternoon in the upscale shopping mall just outside of Atlanta. Families strolled through polished marble floors. Teens lingered near the food court. And 63-year-old Charles Evans, retired Army sergeant, decorated veteran, and local community mentor, was browsing quietly in the electronics store, holding a boxed tablet. His cap, embroidered with U.S. Army, Desert Storm veteran, sat proudly on his head. He wasn't in a rush. He wasn't drawing attention. He was just doing what anyone else was doing, shopping. And that's when she noticed him. Mid-40s, designer bag, expensive sunglasses she didn't need indoors. That unmistakable look of entitlement. Karen. At first, she just stared from a few aisles over. Then she moved closer, slowly circling, pretending to browse. And finally, she muttered loud enough for the employee nearby to hear. "Are you watching him? Because I've seen people like him before." The employee, a teenage kid who'd just started working the register, froze. Charles heard it too. He turned, calmly, and made direct eye contact. But Karen wasn't finished. "He's been loitering for 20 minutes, she snapped. "Probably casing the place. I've seen him pick something up and then put it down twice. Just call security." The boy hesitated, visibly uncomfortable. But before he could respond, Karen already had her phone out. "I'll do it myself. This is why these places get robbed." Charles placed the tablet back on the shelf. His voice was steady. "Ma'am, I served 22 years in the military, so people like you could feel safe shopping." Karen scoffed. "Military? Please. Anyone can buy a hat." She smirked and stepped back as security approached. 2 guards, young, white. They glanced at Charles, then Karen, then the employee. Karen rushed forward. "He's been acting suspicious. I think he's hiding something. You need to search him." The employee tried to interject. Actually, he didn't. But the guards were already moving toward Charles. And Charles? He just stood there, calmly reaching into his jacket for his wallet. Inside was a Department of Defense military ID, a driver's license, and a laminated card that read, "Veterans Outreach Speaker, Georgia Chapter." But none of that mattered. The guards asked him to step outside. He did. Karen smiled. She thought she'd won. She had no idea what was coming next. Outside the store, the Georgia heat hit hard, even in the mall's shaded courtyard. Charles stood straight, hands behind his back, posture still sharp like the soldier he'd once been. The 2 security guards flanked him, still unsure of what to make of the situation. One began asking questions. The other radioed in for mall management. Karen followed them out, arms folded, her face tight with smug satisfaction. "I told you," she said to no one in particular. "They always act calm when they're guilty." Charles turned to her slowly. "I served in Iraq, lost friends there. Came back to build a mentorship program for kids in neighborhoods you probably avoid driving through. And now I'm being interrogated. For shopping." One of the guards cleared his throat, clearly uncomfortable. "Sir, we're just doing our job." "And is it part of your job," Charles asked, "to act on a complaint with no evidence?" Just then, another voice cut through the tension. "Excuse me, what's going on here?" It was a woman, mid-30s, wearing a navy suit, badge clipped to her belt. Mall management. She was black too. Her name tag read Tamara. Karen jumped in first. "I caught this man acting suspiciously. The store clerk didn't do anything, so I called you." Tamara turned to Charles. "Sir, what's your side?" "I was shopping, holding a tablet. She assumed I was stealing based on, well, you can guess." Tamara looked at the guards. "Did anyone actually see him do anything wrong?" Silence. Then the teenage store clerk came jogging out of the store, holding up a receipt. He didn't steal anything. He was about to buy this before she started yelling. He was polite, didn't raise his voice once. Karen's face began to twist. You're seriously going to take his side over mine? Tamara narrowed her eyes. I'm taking the truth side. And you? You're being asked to leave the premises. Karen blinked. What? You heard me, Tamara said. Harassment, false report, disruption. We don't tolerate that here. Karen's voice rose. You can't do that. I'll sue this whole place. Tamara folded her arms. Try it. We have it all on camera. Karen opened her mouth again, but this time the guards turned to her. Ma'am, you'll need to come with us. The same guards who just minutes ago questioned Charles now escorted Karen away. And Charles? He stood there, silent, unmoving, until Tamara turned back to him. Mr. Evans, right? We looked you up. You're a community hero. I'm so sorry this happened. Charles gave a small smile. I've dealt with worse, but thank you for doing what was right. Tamara nodded. Would you allow us to comp your purchase? Small apology from the mall. He hesitated, then nodded once. But only if that young cashier gets a bonus. He stood up when it mattered. 2 days later, the incident exploded online. Someone in the crowd had recorded the entire confrontation, from Karen's aggressive accusations to Tamara calmly kicking her off the property. The video hit Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. The title? Black veteran harassed by Karen while shopping. Watch what happens next. Within 48 hours, the clip had over 8 million views. Comments poured in. This man served our country, and this is how he's treated? Give that manager a raise. Tamara for president. Notice how calm he stayed. That's discipline. That's strength. Charles Evans, the man Karen had tried to humiliate, was suddenly at the center of a national conversation. The clip reached veterans groups, civil rights organizations, even talk shows. Within a week, Good Morning America reached out. They wanted him to share his experience live. But Charles declined. He didn't want fame. He wanted impact. Instead, he posted a quiet message from his mentorship nonprofit's page. To every young person I work with, never let someone else's assumptions define your truth. Walk with honor. Speak with calm. Act with purpose. But while Charles tried to stay quiet, the internet wasn't done with Karen. Her name? Leaked. Her job? Found. Her LinkedIn? Flooded with comments. People demanded accountability. And then it happened. Her employer made a public statement. We are aware of the incident involving one of our employees and a decorated U.S. veteran. We do not tolerate discriminatory behavior of any kind. She is no longer with the company. Karen lost her job. And in a strange twist, she also lost the lawsuit she tried to file against the mall. The judge dismissed it with prejudice, citing the security footage, multiple eyewitness accounts, and her pattern of disruptive behavior. Meanwhile, Tamara? She got promoted. The mall released a statement praising her leadership, her grace under pressure, and her unshakable commitment to justice. The teenage cashier got a $5,000 scholarship grant from a local veterans association. And Charles? He never spoke about the incident again, except once, during a small fundraiser where someone asked how he stayed so calm that day. He simply said, "You don't need to raise your voice when the truth is loud enough." A month after the incident, the headlines faded, but something deeper remained. Charles Evans returned to his usual quiet life. No press tours, no drama. Just the same man walking into schools, community centers, and youth shelters, teaching kids how to lead with integrity. But something had shifted. Donations to his nonprofit tripled. Mentorship applications poured in. And at the next community event, over 500 people showed up, Veterans, teenagers, parents, all wanting to learn from the man who kept his cool while the world watched. At the podium, Charles said just 12 words. Your value isn't up for debate. Never let them strip your dignity. After the speech, a young boy came up to him, maybe 11 years old, small for his age, glasses too big for his face. He looked nervous. "Mr. Evans," he whispered, "do you think someone like me could ever join the army?" Charles knelt beside him. "You don't have to serve in the army to serve your country," he said. "Just stand up when others sit down. Speak out when it's hard. That's leadership. And I think you've already started." Across town, Tamara was invited to speak at a corporate diversity panel. She talked about courage, not just as a value, but as a skill. "People think being nice is enough," she said, "but sometimes you have to risk something to do the right thing." Even Karen's former employer launched a mandatory anti-bias training for all employees, quietly citing the mall incident as a catalyst for internal reform. It didn't fix everything. Racism didn't vanish. Entitlement didn't die. But one man's calm, one woman's courage, and one moment caught on camera, they shifted something. And that's how real change begins. Not with applause, not with headlines, but with someone refusing to back down, even when no one expects them to stand up.